Alright, so moving on to the Adept video. We have a graph here and 2 points are indicated on it, and we're asked to determine the slope of the line. Okay, well, we can do that well, using the formula, or we can actually go back to counting squares, okay, because this is certainly easy enough. Okay, we know our slope is positive. Okay, so slope is delta y over delta x. Okay, well, our rise is clearly 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, our run is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, it has to be positive because the line's going up, and that reduces to 2/3. Okay, so the slope of our line is 2/3, so I'll just write that here. M equals 2/3. Well, then it asks, what is the problem with using slope-intercept form, again that's this form here, to determine the equation of the line? Well, if you want to use this one, you need two things. You need the slope, which we just figured out, but you also need the y-intercept. Well, look at the graph. Look where the y-intercept is, okay? We can't tell precisely where it is, okay? We can't just guess if we want the equation exactly. So just reading off the picture and taking the y-intercept, this doesn't work, okay? So we can actually use slope point form to help us. Okay, so let's first state the two given points. So this was x is 1, y is -1, and the other one was x is 7 and y is 3. Now it says use slope point form to determine the equation of the line. And we're going to use both sets of points. Okay? Not because we have to, but I'm going to show you down below that it doesn't matter which point you choose. You're still going to get the exact same equation. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to use this point here. So y minus y1. So my y value was -1. What goes here? That's the slope. Remember, if you look at your formula. And we already know that the slope is 2/3. We already calculated that. X minus, and what goes here is the x value, so that's just 1. Okay. Now I have a double negative here, so I'm just going to write that as y plus 1 equals 2/3 times x minus 1. So that is actually the equation of our line. It's just written in slope point form. Okay. So for the next one, I'm going to do exactly the same thing, but I'm going to use this point instead. So y minus my y value, so that's 3, equals, and again the slope is still 2/3, and then I have x minus x1, that's right there. Okay, we don't have any double negatives, so I'm just going to leave it, well, I'll write it again, just so it looks like the previous one. Okay, so this is also the same equation of our line. Now they look completely different, but I'm going to show you down below that they are in fact the same. Right, so show that the two equations are in fact the same by converting them to general form. So I'm going to write it again, but I'm going to be careful to leave a space here. You'll see why in just a sec. So this is not in a particularly nice form. Okay, I'm going to write it in general form, and we know in order to do that I need to get rid of any fractions. So let's get rid of this 3. So I'm going to multiply everything by 3. So that includes this as well. Alright. Alright, so 3 times y, that gives me 3y. 3 times 1 is 3. Okay. Now, it looks quite scary on the right, but it's actually quite simple. I have 3 times 2/3. Well, the 3's cancel, so I'm just left with 2 times x minus 1. Okay. So now all the fractions are gone. So I'm going to apply my distributive law on the right. So this gives me 2x take away 2. And now to finish it off, to put it in general form, I want everything on one side equal to 0. I'm going to express everything on the right-hand side, only because that means this is already positive. So this is 2x minus 2. And I'm going to subtract 3y from both sides. And I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides, which leaves a 0 here. So let's finish it off. I get 0 equals 2x minus 3y, and then -2 minus 3 is -5. So now we've converted this into general form. Let's do the other one. All right. So let's take this equation here and do exactly what we did before. It looks different right now, so you might think, this is a different line. The graphs won't look the same. Well, you're going to see that, in fact, they are the same. And I'm going to, I didn't leave enough room here. Just put an equals further to the left. Okay. So now I'm going to put this in general form, so I need to get rid of this fraction. So I'm going to multiply this by 3 again, which means that must be multiplied by 3. So this is going to give me 3y minus 9 equals, and the 3 times 2/3 times x minus 7. Well, the 3's, these cancel. 3 over 3 is just 1. So I'm left with 2 times x minus 7. Okay. So now I'm just going to expand the right-hand side. There we go. That's minus 14. And I'm going to express everything on the right-hand side, okay, because my x coefficient is already positive. Okay, so those stay. But I need to subtract 3y, and I need to add 9, which leaves 0 on the other side. So we finish it off. This gives me 2x minus 3y, and negative 14 plus 9 is negative 5. So now you can see, now that these are both in general form, they are in fact the exact same line. Okay, so this is just to show that when you're using slope point form to get your equations, okay, it doesn't matter which point you choose. You can use any point on the line and, well, then you've got your equation. So there we go.